Hey everyone, yeah, it's a classic episode, and this is the explanation of the classic episode. If you want to get right to the show, here's the time code. Go ahead, fast forward, I won't mind. So as you can hear, I'm sick. Last few weeks have kind of kicked my tail on a lot of levels, but last weekend I was at MFF, and I ran into a fan of the show. And he said that he was surprised I hadn't talked about the video game reviewing community. And I mentioned an old episode I did, and he asked where it was. Well, it was over on WOWTF show, but it was blocked in all countries except Canada because Viacom has double standards when it comes to fair use. So, anyway, this show was made for a Salieri video contest back in 2013, and I had to stick to some specific rules, including some challenge rules, and I had to include some specific things in the video. Bonus points if you can spot those things without reading the comments first. Now, I won this contest with the video, by the way. Happy about that. So, this is a re-upload of that old episode with the offending video clips removed. And it's also presented ad-free unless some company decides to make a claim on it, and they probably will, knowing YouTube these days. So, new episode, hopefully next week. Enjoy.
Tiger, come on, gotta do the show.
Go away, creature.
Oh, come on, you skipped a week last week. You owe these people.
I am not in the mood.
It's a challenge.
You know me too well.
Well, you made me. I should know you.
Alright. So, what exactly is my challenge?
Your challenge is review anything.
Anything. Challenge accepted.
Wait. So, you're going to do a review of video game reviewers in a challenge offered up by a guy who reviews reviewers. Talk about pandering.
Well, yeah, I am going to be Okay, well, a lot of these guys do review individual reviewers, and that's fine, that's their thing, I'm cool with that, but I tend to be a little more holistic, so I want to actually look at the community as a whole. And a lot of things we're going to be talking about in this episode I have talked about in previous episodes, so we're going to try to tie it all together and try to get a little insight if possible. So we're going to start with one very basic question. Why are video game reviewers so angry?
As talked about before, the gamer stereotype is that all gamers are angry, and we're not helping that stereotype within our own culture either. Angry Video Game Nerd and Angry Joe, of course, come to mind immediately, but it's very rare to find anyone reviewing video games who isn't angry, loud, swears a lot, and so on. So why? Why all this anger and rage? Well, to really answer this question, I feel like I need to step back a generation or so. Stay with me, there is a payoff. The 80s was pretty much all about yourself.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Then again, considering the political climate, we all figured a senile old man with his finger on the button is going to kill us all, so why not enjoy the moment anyway? The 90s tried to buck the system with a new president.
I want a kinder and gentler nation.
Combine this with political correctness and a bunch of other factors, and basically you now have a generation running things who was brought up to honestly believe that you should never, ever be angry.
Because the key to getting a job in today's corporate world is not knowing things or having skills or experience, but having a positive attitude.
That's the fault of my generation, and I am so sorry.
And this is pretty much the world we live in now, in which we're being told that we need to be happy pretty much all the time. But we all know this is impossible and unrealistic, and yet here we are in a society that simply won't validate anger. If you don't believe me, well, let's turn to the video game stereotype and the lulzy videos that you see. Well, I'll mercifully mute the audio, but you've all seen these freak-out videos. It's pretty much mocking people for the crime of being angry. Or, in most cases, it's just someone pretending to be angry to get hits, but I'll get to that in a moment. Anger is one of those base human emotions that is easy to tap into. You don't even need to be a professional actor to get worked up over nothing.
And I would actually demonstrate it, and I planned on doing it, but I've been having some blood pressure issues lately, and if I ended up doing it, I'd end up looking like Andrew WK. Yeah, I'm not really in the mood to clean that up today. But let's kind of focus on reviewers. Let's actually go to the entire reviewing community. Why are there so many angry reviewers, and why does the formula work? Well, I think it's kind of a variation of the Barbra Streisand effect.
The who's it what now effect?
Barbra Streisand? You've been waiting for that, haven't you?
Well, I've been at the turntables for a while now, so yeah.
Alright, that's a little dated. Maybe we should go with something a little more modern.
Let's go back a couple of years when Nostalgia Critic did this review of a movie called The Room. The video itself was taken down because of a copyright dispute from YSO Studios, who distribute The Room, and the Nostalgia Critic fan outrage, immense. It generated a lot of interest for the movie, and people sought out The Room to watch it for themselves. This is why, in retrospect, I think this was a calculated move on the part of YSO Studios. They saw an opportunity to get publicity and generate interest in their movie, and as Oscar Wilde put it, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. And to some extent, it worked. So, what lesson can we take from this? YSO Studios threw up a big stink about their movie being reviewed on the internet, and they ended up profiting from their anger. So, the internet's zeal for socially punishing the anger of others can be used as a vehicle to promote yourself. To go back to the internet freakout videos, most of those are staged. In this case, this is Francis. He's a character created by Bogey. Well, anyway, most of the people who see his videos don't know it's a character. They just see angry person sitting behind a computer getting worked up about a video game, and they instantly forward it with a lulz at the nerd at the end. But at the end of the day, he's making money as a YouTube partner, enjoying the fact that people laugh at his character.
Now at this point I could get into talking about avatars and stereotypical avatars, but I really don't want to do that. I really want to just kind of maintain the focus here. Why are reviewers angry? Well, it's because it's a very easy connection.
We've all been angry at one point or another, so we can all relate to that emotion, but as mentioned before, we're not allowed to actually act out on that anger and rage in modern society. However, there seems to be an exception made when someone is speaking through that avatar, and it's generally accepted that it's not them talking, it's the character. On the reviewer side, it's actually really easy to go after anything. You just find something obscure like a foreign film that most people will never see, and you basically strawman the hell out of it.
Strawman technique. Okay, this is the technique of taking somebody's argument, making a fake argument out of it, and then attacking that fake argument. But in this case, it's more like tearing apart a video game for... You know, actually, show, don't tell.
Okay, so this game is like really lame. Okay, so you play this little blue guy who runs, and oh yeah, like you've never seen that a million times before. And you don't even get a gun, you don't get a missile launcher. There's no HUD and no radar. I mean, how lame is that? I mean, all you do is run to the right. Boring. And I mean, we've seen it before in Mario Brothers. And it steals so much from Mario too, like jumping on things, heads, and how gold things, and holy hell, does that guy go fast. I can't even enjoy the scenery with him running that fast. What does it even look like?
All artificial arguments about a game that arguably changed the industry around it. But the thing is, a lot of people have played Sonic the Hedgehog, so they would look at my argument and say, yeah, that doesn't quite hold water with me, because that's not the game that I played. So let's go with something that's a little bit more obscure. Let's go with something from the same exact year. How about The Rocketeer for the Nintendo Entertainment System? Not a lot of people have played this game, so without having that reference point of having played it, now you just connect with my anger and rage.
See, most of the anger heaped upon old games is out of context for the era and superficial at best. It's easy to snark at an 8-bit side-scroller when looking at it through the modern lens and pick on its every shortcoming compared to modern games. I mean, let's face it, Doom can't hold a candle to Halo 4 on every imaginable level, but is it less fun of a game because of it? So it's an easy target to go back into the so-called nostalgia vault and make fun of a game for its shortcomings. I eagerly await the day when Skyrim has a nostalgia reviewer saying that it's just not immersive enough without the neurocyber link-ups. So, where does this anger really come from anyway? It has to come from somewhere, but short of having a panel of psychoanalysts standing by, I couldn't tell you why an individual is raging at an old game. The best theory that I have is that it's anger from the real world being superimposed onto the game. They find something that is, for all intents and purposes, minor, and they blow it out of proportion to the rest of the game, specifically to vent their spleen at it. In reality, most of these games aren't bad when taken in context of their time. And also in reality, these people have to enjoy the games they're reviewing, or they wouldn't put so much time and effort into finding these old classics.
This is where you kind of got to sit back and look at the larger picture of things, because, let's face it, you gotta love the subject matter that you're covering in the first place. Unless you're a major player in the game, you're not going to be turning over a profit for doing internet reviews, so something's got to keep you coming back week after week. It's probably going to be the love of the subject matter. But the thing is, a lot of these guys create this fake persona, this character, so that they can heap abuse on the thing that they really, really do love, so that they can gain popularity and exploit a stereotype rather than combat it. Well, that sounds kind of sad when you put it that way.
Wait, so does that make me a character you hide behind?
Well, actually, you're more of a plot device than a character.
I'm not comfortable being called a device.
Well, there are a lot of worse things I could call you.
Point taken.